And now for something completely different, as this time I'm doing a video on an interesting study I just came across on Gamasutra. Now this was actually posted a little while ago on July the 2nd, so please forgive me if you've already read this, but I've only just come across it myself and found it interesting, so I wanted to actually just cover this in a video, give my thoughts, and of course give you guys a chance to air your opinions as well. A link to the Gamasutra article as well as of course the study itself is in the description below this video if you wish to read more. But basically the essence of this study is that playing violent video games may actually improve your moral behaviour, which of course is very much against the popular opinion in the mass media at the moment, which is often touted by shouty quote-unquote newspapers like the Daily Mail and the Sun, which love to point the finger at video games at every opportunity they get. But this study has actually shown that playing violent video games may actually make you more sensitive to violence in real life. Now, this study was led by Matthew Grizzard, an assistant professor at the University of Buffalo, and was co-authored by the researchers at Michigan State University and the University of Texas, and basically says that being bad in video games can lead you to think more about your real life actions. And he said, quote, "Rather than leading players to become less moral, this research suggests that violent video game play may actually lead to an increased moral sensitivity. This may, as it does in real life, provoke players to engage in voluntary behaviour that benefits others." Now, the study, which actually goes by the name of being bad that a video game can make us more morally sensitive, essentially says that being immoral in a video game can then cause feelings of guilt, which can lead to pro-social behaviour. And Grizzard noted, quote, "We found that after a subject played a violent video game, they felt guilt, and that guilt was associated with greater sensitivity towards the two particular names they violated, those of care or harm and fairness and reciprocity. Our findings suggest that emotional experiences evoked by media exposure can increase the intuitive foundations upon which human beings make moral judgments. This is particularly relevant for video game play, where habitual engagement with that media is a norm for a small but considerably important group of users." Now, since I know some of you are wondering, this study involved 185 people who were randomly assigned either a guilt-inducing condition in which they played a shooter as a terrorist or were asked to recall real-life acts that induce guilt, or a control condition such as a UN soldier and the recollection of real-life acts that did not induce guilt. Then, after completing the video game or the memory recall, each of the participants then completed a 3-item guilt scale as well as a 30-item moral foundation questionnaire designed to assess the importance of the five moral domains cited above. Now, as I said, the link to the actual study itself is in the description below this video, so if you wish to read more, I suggest you do it. There is quite a bit of information here that I haven't discussed here, but I feel I've discussed the key. Now, they haven't specified in this particular article, either in this Gamasutra one or in the study itself, but my feeling here is that they probably deliberately gotten people who don't play video games on, all the time basis or very rarely, or are perhaps new to video games, just to see the impact, because obviously experienced gamers are of course can become desensitized to anything as you become desensitized by watching films or whatever. So to get the proper response, you want someone who isn't that familiar. So, why am I feeling, well, so-and-so games make me feel guilty? Yeah, but it may make someone else who's perhaps new to gaming, or perhaps has only played, I don't know, bloody Farmville or whatever, feel that guilt. And that's obviously what they're going for. They want to see the actual reaction of someone playing the game. Now, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense that being exposed to this sort of thing might actually make you more active in real life, and I certainly know that I personally think this whole video games make you violent is a load of bollocks, to be honest with you. Excuse my French, but there's no other way to say it. It's simply a load of scaremongering bullshit, and I can't wait for them to find a new scapegoat to point fingers at, because, well, let's face it, every new thing has had its turn in the limelight. First it was films, and then it was metal, and then for a while it was just Marilyn Manson by him all by his lonesome, and now it's video games, unfortunately, that are the only thing corrupting our nation's youth. Oh. So to be honest, as soon as they find a new scapegoat, the better for us. We can just carry on our hobby in peace as we have been doing for many, many years. So I hope that, to be honest, they do a bigger study. I think the only real criticism I could level at it is that 185 isn't really that big a study pool. They really need more participants, but of course they do have a limited budget, being a university and everything. So hopefully we see more studies like this that actually, continue to debunk the violent nonsense. But yeah, regardless, before I go off on a tangent, do let me know your opinions below, and I'll see you next time.